So, I'm seeing it all over the place. Psalm 46, I think 5, 46, 5 maybe. That the Lord is within her, she shall not fail. Or the Lord is within her, she shall not fall. Or God is in the midst of her, she shall not be moved. There are a bunch of different ways to interpret that, right? There's a different words that we can use. Basically, God's inside of her, she's not going to fall, right? She's going to win. And so there's a bunch of Christian women out there, and they are using this verse, and they are saying, yay, this is about Christian women. This is about tough women. Yay, right? That's awesome. But Psalm 46 as a whole is not about a woman. It's about property. It's about land. It's about holy land. And so people are taking this. Now, I use Psalm 46 to do marriage blessings, relationship healings. Uh, you use it when marriages are kind of going south, but there's still a lot of love, or for house blessings, especially where there's more than one person living there, and so there's um, potential for conflict, things like that. That's what I use Psalm 46 as a whole for when I'm doing work like that. And so when I started seeing that verse around, I thought, oh, that's so weird. That doesn't even make sense to me because, I mean, there are a number of Bible verses that talk about the holiness or um, the sacred nature of woman. And so, why would that be used? Why would those words be used instead of one of the other verses? And then I realized it's no different than anything else. It's that people like those words. God is in the midst of her, she shall not be moved. Oops, sorry. Um, and so all of that is actually, I'm waiting for an important text, so I'm going to check that while we're talking. So so it's beautiful words, it's a beautiful meaning. Um, and yet the meaning behind it, the person who wrote it, the God that inspired it, didn't intend it to be taken that way, not as some Christian feminist um, anthem. And so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today is the interpretation of things. And we all do it. I will read something and I will say, "Oh, it means this." And then my roommate will say, "No, fucking doesn't." And I'll be like, "Oh my god, I totally interpreted it that way." But as a fortune teller, as a spiritual advisor, of course, the accuracy of the things that I say, the details, the devil is in the details. Well, the details of it, the interpretation of it, of the way that I am uh, divining, or the way that I am interpreting what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing for my client. And then on top of that, they then make the interpretation of what I say. For example, many times in the past, somebody's called me and said, well, so and so said that in her reading, you said this. Now, of course, since I'm not going to breach what that reading was, unless I was much younger, um, then I can't say, oh, yeah, that's what I said, or oh, no, that's not what I said. And so I'm just sitting there thinking, that isn't what I said. That isn't what I said at all. But that client interpreted that as such. And so when we are paying attention to the signs, when we're paying attention to the visions that we get, the dreams that we have, the omens that we see while we're out during the day, doing just our average every day, of course, magic and mysticism comes into play every fucking day, almost every moment, and it can be really helpful if we interpret it the way that the guides or the divine or the spirit world is intending for it to be interpreted. But instead of Psalm 46:5 being about property, about land, about where God is saying, "Oh yeah, I'm in this land for you." People interpreted it, or some people interpreted it as, "Hey, I'm a Christian chick. God loves me. I can't fail." And that's fine. That's a wonderful sentiment. It's a powerful sentiment. But there are plenty of other Bible verses that talk like that. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm just repeating myself. So when we interpret things, when we interpret the things that we are being shown by the other worlds and the other entities, then we need to make sure that we're not throwing in what we want. We're not interpreting it the way that we want, saying the things that we want to hear. When we're reading for ourselves, we need to make sure that we're not interpreting it the way that we want it to turn out. So, I think that's it for today, and much love, many blessings. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment.